Hello, I'm NeoGet, and welcome to Wizorb. It's a breakout style game with RPG elements that's quite fun. I played it for a little bit yesterday just to get an idea of what it's like, as I found that my completely blind videos aren't always as coherent as I'd like. So I'm going to click New Quest and lose the progress that I've made. That's fine. And we will accept normal difficulty. So this here's a tutorial level. You are the wizard at the bottom, so for the sake of the levels you just are represented by your magic wand that is controlling this orb. Now you need to keep the J and K buttons under your hand, and then you can use either the mouse or the arrows to control the paddle, but for the sake of speed I prefer to use the mouse. It's slightly less accurate, that's just because of me, but I find the arrows just aren't quick enough. You can speed up the paddle, I think it's the N button with the arrows, but I find that just gets a little bit clunky. So mouse and keyboard for me. So to launch it, you press J and it will set off. The aim of each level is to kill all the enemies and to take out all the blocks. There are 3 different sizes of blocks. Small and medium take 1 hit, larger blocks take 2 hits, and then there's also blocks made of different materials. As you can see here, these ones represent hedges, so they break very simply, much like any normal block. There's also those stone ones, which take a lot more to break. The stone ones take about 3 hits. It's slightly variable. They have 2 or 3 health. You can't always tell by looking at them. Oops, that was silly of me. So now that I've died once, I've got the options here of either launching it again or pressing K, which I will do just to show you. And this is a teleport spell. You only have access to this after you've died, and you can choose where you'd like it to start. But I don't think you choose where it's going to bounce, like the direction, sorry. But very useful just for getting yourself into those difficult nooks that you're having trouble reaching. So then here we are in the town that's been destroyed in the recent issues, and this town is called Taro. And so your job is to sort of help rebuilding it. There are 12 levels per world and 5 worlds in this game, so quite a lot to do. You have to complete a world in 1 run. That's sort of the only slightly frustrating thing. If you are doing really well, want to exit back, you won't be able to bring your score with you, and your score is equated to gold coins. So this guy needs 750 in order to reopen his shop. Unfortunately we only have 300, so we're not going to be able to help him. The mayor up there, the guy next to him, I didn't know that he did that little animation. He's asking for 999 coins in order to restore the mayor's house for him, because the mayor is focused on everyone else's house. But this one is affordable, so there we go. And you get little rewards for doing that. Keys are very useful. They open chests and locked doors. You can talk to all the animals in this game. It's brilliant. So what's that? 350. We can't afford that one. I think we can afford one more thing. It's just finding the items that cost what you've got. So let's have a look. Okay, we need to restore the town's food at some point. I think the dog actually has an affordable option, so let's go visit the dog, because he's actually asking for something as well. There we go. And we get another key off him. So let's just see. These 2 people aren't asking for money. I'm just going to hold on to the extra 100 and head out of the village to continue the quest. So here's the world map. Right now, only one area open. This will fill in though as we find things. Your score will only update once you've completed the area. So here we go. It's telling us about a spell that we have available, the Fireball spell. You may notice over on the right that my magic level has been saved between sections, so you have to be aware of that. Don't use up all your magic early in the world, because you can then find that you've not got any for an extended time. Although this level gives you a lot of these blast. Shouldn't focus on the drops. I always do that. I focus on the drops and forget that I'm supposed to be focusing on the orb. It's one thing I've always done wrong in this kind of game. But yeah, this level has a lot of these things that restore your mana, so that you can sort of play with the Fireball spell, which is just helpful. So let's break something. Let's try and keep it going. I was doing not brilliantly, but a lot better than this yesterday when I wasn't trying to record. So let's just finish the level there. As soon as you finish the level, the orb disappears and you can just collect the last few things. It will wait until all the items have dropped off the screen before it ends the level, so that's really helpful. Now this one is slightly difficult in the fact that these little planters will not allow you to get to things, but you have this spell called Alter, which adjusts the direction of the orb. So you can convince the orb that it wants to keep bouncing around. I think it's affected by where your paddle is, but I'm not 100% on that. Oops, wrong button. So let's hopefully... Nope, it's come down again. Let's try and get it back up there then. Almost. Just got to convince it up. There we go. And as is standard for this kind of game, where on the paddle is hit does affect the angle of the bounce. So useful for trying to convince it to go to certain places. So there you can see that Alter spell. Used it many times, kept the ball up there, makes the level much easier than it would be. And when you're starting a level, you should pay attention to the 3 doors at the top of the screen, because on some levels it is actually possible to enter those buildings, which gives you wonderful little bonus levels. Now those are extremely useful, because one of the many things you can get from them is extra lives, and those extra lives are really helpful. I mean, I'm never going to complete all 10 on the one set of 3 lives. I just make too many silly mistakes. But you do have 3 continues that you can use. I don't know if they cost you coins or anything, I'm not entirely sure on that. I used one yesterday in order to complete this world already, but it's quite simple just to use it. I still ended up leaving this area with a very high score, so I'm not sure. You do get bonus points at the end of each level though, if you manage to complete the level without dying, so there is an incentive there to do it. You also get bonus points for completing the level having picked up every item. And you may have noticed the ball's getting faster as I advance through the level. The longer the ball is out for, the faster the ball will get. Let's just help the level along slightly. There we go. So we are getting there. And there we go. So we've used up all our magic, which as I said isn't the most sensible thing to do, but that's fine. We're doing no problem there. So very low score, unfortunately. Now this level, very interesting. If you look at the top, that door in the middle is unlockable. The keys we have are what will unlock that. So really useful if you can bounce your way in there. And the 2 red and gold bricks that you can see are chests. Now, part of me thinks I was wrong when I stated you needed a key to unlock them, because they often contain keys. I think they're just chests that you can get. Just open them normally by interacting with them with the orb. Oh yes, I've forgotten completely. There we go, we made it in. Bonus level, which has its own little cheery soundtrack. So you just want to pop all of these. I don't know if there's a time limit for this. Every time I've been in here, it has just kept going until I've popped everything. You specifically want that heart though, because that is what will give you the extra life, so that you're slightly further away from needing to hit continue. But these are brilliant for restoring your magic and your lives. And some of them though aren't this bonus level, some of them are actually shops where you can spend your score in order to unlock things, which is very cool. Now, what I've just done there, I hit the J button as the orb hit the wand, which turns it into a strong orb. Strong orb goes through everything it hits, but it does cost a large chunk of your magic. It's about 40%, not 100% sure on the numbers, but the different special spells cost between 30 and 40 depending on the spell. The other special spell is if you hit K when the orb hits. When I have some magic again, I will demonstrate that. And the K option temporarily allows you to control the orb, which is really cool. You just use the mouse or arrow keys to choose where you'd like the orb to go, and it will bounce around on things, but you can pinpoint just what you needed to hit, so it's very handy. I do really like that spell. I've used it many a time to get into difficult areas or to get things that are just niggling. So there we go, we got both bonuses on this one because we managed not to kill ourselves and to collect everything, so that was great. And up the top there you'll see different door, that is an item shop. So we can get in there, spend our score on extra lives, extra magic, things like that. That button that you can see in the middle is what will open that door. Buttons do different things, but this one opens the door at the top. So there we go, it's now open. So if we can, we want to try and get in there at some point during this level and see if we can get some extra things. Just basically there we go, like to purchase an extra life. You do get a bonus score at the end of the world if you managed to avoid spending any money in the shops, but I'd rather try and avoid using the continue. Oops, yes, it continues selecting what you're on, so let's just move over that, hit the K button. You really do need to use J and K as much as you can for controlling the menus. It's really helpful. Oh, that is a curse. You don't want to pick those up. They have different effects. One of them makes your paddle get covered in slime, slows it down, doesn't let it interact with the ball as effectively. There's ones that shrink your paddle, one that sends the ball straight up to maximum speed, which is a very tough one to then control. So lots of things to be wary of. You'll notice the shop has shut but the button hasn't reset. You can only enter it once per level, but it will pop up again in later levels, so no issues there. If you don't get it the first time, you can always just get it when you get to a later level. So we're on level 5. I'm hoping to make it to... Oops, blast. Hoping to make it to level 12 for you, as level 12 is actually a boss fight. I mean, looking at the time, we're up to about 16 minutes. So I might jump ahead once this level is complete and rejoin you when I hit the boss level, just in order to show you that without completely running out of time. So let's just complete this level and then I will do that, which I think will make a much better video than making this go on as long as it takes me to complete that. Now, one thing I've forgotten to mention that I've been reminded of, there we go, it's flashing. If you bounce on the paddle 8 times, I believe it is, without breaking a brick, it restores 10% of your mana. 10% is enough for 1 shot of the spells, so let's try and get just 1 more hit of mana, because that'll just help me. There we go. Now we'll actually worry about completing the level. But it's a useful way to restore your mana, but it does require that you're not hitting bricks, so it can be a little hard to pull off at earlier points in levels. So there we go, we've completed that. I will see you in a few minutes, well, for me, when I've reached the boss level. Alright, I've just finished level 12, so this is the boss battle. As you can see, it has a health bar. It also has an interesting mechanic of the boss will actually attack you back. Now, you can, if you've got magic left at this point, attack the boss with the magic rather than relying just on the aim of the orb, which is really handy, as it can take a while to hit the boss, but you only have 10 shots if you arrive with full mana, and knowing my inability to aim, that's not enough shots, but that's fine. Now, he only attempts to shoot if the paddle is below him for any extended period of time, so it can be problematic, but because it just shoots in a straight line, I've not actually found it to be any trouble whatsoever, because by the time that the spell gets to me, I'm already done, and isn't it cute? So there we go, that is World 1 of Wizorb completed. We've got our score, we've got all our bonus points, and the completion screen now is a world completion screen, which if I'd managed to either not die at all or not spend any money, would have bonus scores on it. But we can now choose to either go on to the next place or to head on back to the kingdom, and not the kingdom, the kingdom's the map, back to the town and rebuild things. Now I'm going to rebuild the useful things, so we want a nice shop, there we go. At some point very soon that will appear. Generally I find if you just go to the other end of town and back, it will be done. Now I'm controlling in the town with the mouse, which is slightly clunky. You can just swap to the keyboard, it's absolutely fine. So there we go. Got our reward, an extra life, wonderful. Now I did actually manage to complete the previous one without requiring myself to go to a continue, which was great. Big improvement over last time. Now how much are you asking for? Donate 250 to rebuild his house. There we go. We've got another key. We have a lot of keys. Not sure if you ever don't, but there we go. There's the dog with his little house. That's been successfully built. Oops, sorry, get out of the way. That guy's wanting to rebuild the statue in the middle. And here's the farm. Nicely holding the cows in properly now. So slowly this place will get rebuilt. Now I really hope you've enjoyed this look at this game. If you're a fan of breakout style games, this one is a great game. You know, it's worth picking up. It's on Steam. Not 100% sure if it's on other platforms. I have it on Steam. But it's really fun and has such a lovely jolly soundtrack as well. And just lovely bright graphics, and it really is just a lovely game. As I say, great one for any fan of the genre. So I will see you soon. I'm going to leave you here now and say goodbye. Take care. Bye.